Hey everybody, this is Ryan.
And this is Kyle.
And the thing that's flying into your ear holes is
The Doctor's Watcher, the Mathletes podcast about every episode of Doctor Who.
That's mathematical. So, how's it going, Kyle?
It's going pretty well. It has been a long time since we've recorded, or it feels like that, at least.
Yeah, at least, 3 or 4 weeks, maybe?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah. And part of that is because I was gone in San Diego for a little while to go to Comic-Con.
Indeed, that looked super cool. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've been going for, several years at this point. But this year there was like a lot less of a big Hollywood presence and like TV movie type stuff. And so it was more focused on like actual comics and stuff, which was, pretty cool and interesting.
Huh.
I went to, a bunch of different panels, ranging from like a panel about the rovers that are on Mars right now, like, presented by NASA scientists and whatever. I actually went to a couple of NASA related panels. I went to that one about the Mars rovers, and then I went to another one that was this guy kind of giving a presentation about the history of video gaming and how it has like interacted with the history of space exploration.
Oh, that's cool.
And talking about things like, joysticks that were developed to like, control space vehicles, like later becoming gaming devices, basically.
Rad.
And, like the very first video game ever was like this, game that a couple of NASA scientists like programmed on their oscilloscope.
Yep.
Like shit
Cool.
like that.
Awesome.
And then I also went to like, this, basically actual play, like a D&D one shot that was like a little murder mystery thing with, called The Halfling Did It and whatever. That was kind of fun. And, I went to, I did go to like a couple of actual comic book related panels. I went to this one that was about like comics set in the 1990s, which was a pretty fun panel to go to. Like the panel itself was mostly the comic book authors just being like, hey, like, remember Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. And like, remember like this 90s thing and that 90s thing. So it was pretty fun.
Nice.
There were, some sort of like more Hollywood and that sort of type stuff that I did go to. I did go to the Star Trek universe panel, which I try to go to every year.
Awesome.
It was kind of a weird panel this year. They were going to do a thing with Strange New Worlds, and then they were going to do a thing with Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, the new show that they've been working on.
Yeah.
And so for the Strange New Worlds panel, they, brought out a bunch of actors and, producers and stuff, but they didn't have like a table or chairs for them to sit at. They all just kind of like stood there. So we were like, that's kind of weird that they're just going to like stand here for the whole panel. But what happened was they basically asked like each person basically one question. They each got to talk for like a minute or two. And then they just like showed the next episode of Strange New Worlds, which at the time was the Space Adventure Hour, which is, a pretty fun episode.
Yeah.
Speaking of murder mysteries.
Right.
But yeah, they just like showed the episode. It was like the Saturday before it actually came out. So like we got to see it in advance, but
nice.
Yeah. Then after the episode was over, they like brought everyone back out to stand on stage long enough to like basically each say like one more thing, and then like they escorted them off and then brought out the Starfleet Academy people, and they all basically said like one or two things each, like, you know, bunch of actors and bunch of producers and whatever, and then like that was the end of it. So yeah,
seems like you'd want more like insights from the actors and the staff and stuff instead of just an early episode, which is cool. But
yeah, like it was cool to see it early, but it was like we were going to see it anyway.
Yeah, right. Like 4 days later or whatever. Yeah.
But then the panel after Star Trek Universe was Project Hail Mary, which was pretty interesting. I don't know if you're familiar with that book.
Yeah, I read it.
Right on.
Our sister gave it to me for, I think, my birthday or Christmas or something.
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, they're working on a movie of that, which is coming out next spring.
Yeah, so, which viewers do not check out the trailer because
the trailer is
like half
full
the
of
twists
spoilers
in the damn book, are on there. So
yeah.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, so we saw like I think 3 or 4 different, you know, like 5-minute clips from the movie. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
You know, they're talking about how it's like still, you know, in development. So like these are, you know, not final clips and everything. But it's looking really good. Like I'm pretty excited to see the movie.
Rad. That sounds awesome. I'm excited to see that too.
Mm-hmm. And then of course, you know, like Andy Weir and Ryan Gosling and whoever else on the panel like talked about it and stuff, which was also pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah, Baby Goose or Ryan Gosling. I think he's good in general.
Yeah. I saw Penn and Teller do a panel. It's their 50th anniversary this year.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so that was a lot of fun. They only did like one magic trick at the end of the panel. It was mostly like actually just a panel of them talking and stuff. But yeah, that was really interesting.
Even Teller?
Yeah.
Does Teller talk? You're kidding. I've seen him talk, you know, once or twice, but nice to actually hear from him.
Yeah, it was cool. Like he and Penn both talked like throughout the panel, and he actually talked a little bit about how sort of his, you know, silent magician persona was kind of because it was partially just like a rebellion against the concept of like magician patter in the first place. Cause he's like, yeah, patter is dumb because you're basically just like saying what you're doing. And like, that seems repetitive. You know,
okay.
Here I have a deck of cards and watch as I cut the deck and, you know, now you should choose, you know, that sort of thing. It's like, right. You know, why do I need to bother saying any of that? And he's like, you know, you're also basically just lying to the audience about exactly what you are doing and what's going on. And like,
right.
I kind of like didn't want to lie to them. I wanted to like teach them to lie to themselves.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So that was cool.
That's a cool concept. Awesome.
Yeah. So that was, I guess, kind of most of the highlights of it. I also went to a panel about like the upcoming Star Trek comics that are going to be coming out in the next year, and they all seem pretty interesting. So I'll probably try to read most of them.
Awesome. Probably nothing can top Warp Your Own Way, though, which I read recently.
Yeah, that was probably
that was incredible.
the best comic book reading experience I've ever had, honestly.
Same, it's up there.
But yeah, there's some pretty interesting series upcoming. There's a series called Red Shirts that I think the first and maybe even the second issue is already out. That is focusing on red shirts, as the name suggests. And so I think probably basically every character is going to get killed at some point over the course of the series. And
right,
all in
that's
like
what they do.
Different ways and stuff. So that should be fun.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So it's kind of my most of my Comic-Con experience.
Awesome. Well, I do have stuff to talk about, but most of it I will leave for next episode. But there is one thing I really wanted to highlight this episode, and it kind of plays, right alongside this sci-fi talk from the Comic-Con and whatnot. I just think this is fucking incredible. The game that you and I are both fans of, and hopefully some of our listeners have at least tried, Caves of Good.
Nice.
They fucking won a Hugo, dude.
Oh,
the
whoa.
Hugo Award.
Shit.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So they're on the same list as like Ursula K. Le Guin and like Gene Wolfe and sci-fi greats.
Dang,
that's incredible to me.
Yeah, totally. I'm not sure I even realized that the video games like all qualified.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. I think I forgot the exact name of the category, but part of it was interactive fiction.
Oh, cool. So
I think that part of the envelope of the category type includes video games.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But probably not all, like I don't know that they would count, I don't know, Halo, right? Because like there is some fiction elements to that, but most of it is like, 95% of that is like shooting and running and whatever.
Yeah, totally.
But, Caves of Good, probably a good, I don't know, 60-70% of it is like reading. Maybe not that much, but like a good chunk of that game is reading.
Yeah, you can get like real deep into the lore.
Yeah, and it's awesome lore.
Yeah, totally.
And for that reason, I feel like they fully deserved it. So congratulations to them. Brian Bucklew, the main programmer, Jason Greenblatt, the writer, and their studio Freehold Games. I think even their publisher, Kit Fox, they do good work as well. But yeah, just good shit.
Nice.
Couple more quick things. I guess I started with one joke for this episode, but something you said reminded me of another quick one. So now I have two jokes. I don't know if they covered this on the panel about the Mars rovers, but do you know why there's no cats on Mars?
No, I don't.
Curiosity's over there.
Shit. Yeah. Kill them all.
Right. Right. The other joke, so this guy like goes to the doctor. He's feeling really, really sick. The doctor's like, okay, well, there's only one way to cure your sickness, and that it's kind of weird, but you're going to have to drink breast milk every day. Guy's like, okay, that is weird, but lucky for me, the neighbor lady just gave birth, so she's got breast milk. Maybe I can talk her into like helping me out.
Mm-hmm.
So he like goes and knocks on her door, and he's like, look, I might die unless I get some breast milk. So can you help me out? And she's like, I guess, like, this is super weird, but yeah, I'll help you. So, the first day, like he's suckling at her teat alongside her child, and she finds herself getting a little bit, excited from it. So like about the time when he gets done, she's like, hey, you want anything else? And he's like, no. And he leaves. Second day, the same thing happens. He's drinking the breast milk. She gets pretty excited and kind of turned on. And at the end, she like asks him like, are you sure you don't want anything else? And, like, bats her eyes at him and whatever. He's like, no, I'm fine. And he leaves. The third day, same thing happens. She gets pretty excited. And at the end, she's like, no, really, like you can have anything you want. Like, is there anything else you want? The guy like blushes a little bit and kind of looks at her awkwardly. And he's like, well, yeah, there is something. And she's like, oh, tell me what you want. And he goes, you think I could have some cookies to go with this milk?
Nice.
Yeah. So, speaking of awkward requests, perhaps that is how we should transition to our discussion of Doctor Who.
Nice, great segue.
Thanks.
Cool, yeah. So this is the 29th episode of season 4.
Nice. How'd you watch it?
I basically just stuck with the animated version that's on the BBC YouTube channel that I mentioned.
Cool.
Yeah, it's, pretty, not like the best quality animation or anything, but it's pretty fun.
Nice.
And yeah, this is, of course, the 3rd episode of the Macra Terror. And actually, before I ask you if you remember the Cliffdingler, I didn't write this down in my notes, so I want to mention it now so I don't forget later. The day that we are recording this episode is our co-host emeritus's birthday, Benny. So,
yay! Happy birthday, Benny!
Happy birthday, Benny, from the future whenever this episode comes out.
Awesome. Man, and many more happy birthdays to come. What a cool dude.
Also, to listener Danny, whose birthday is also today, on the day we record. Happy birthday from the future.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, not the same year, clearly.
No, yeah.
Do they share the same birthday?
Yeah, they're actually triplets.
Oh, what the hell? I had no idea.
Oh, really?
Wow. Mind blown. And no one told me that. Nice. All this time that I've known them. Holy shit. Wow, cool. Well, happy birthday, Danny, too. And whoever the third triplet is. Dang.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I don't know if Marty listens or not, but if you do, happy birthday to Marty also.
Huh. Man, I hope that's not me being an idiot, but yeah, I feel like I never knew that detail.
Nice. That's funny.
Interesting. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Cool. Dang, this is fun for me. Nice.
Cool.
Okay. So, well, that sunk in. Yeah. I just had to have half a second.
On that note, do you remember the Cliffdingler?
I do. So the Doctor and our friends, our 3 companion friends, were running about an apparent utopia. And as with all utopias, you don't have to dig very deep to start getting to the unfortunate underbelly. You don't have to walk around Omelas very long before you hear the tortured child screaming, so to speak.
Indeed.
So they're starting to find out that there's some weird kind of brainwashy, totalitarian type stuff going on with some sort of entity called Control, who looks like a dude. And then at the end of last episode, but normally when they get up, dispatches from Control or whatever, it's like a younger face and the face is static, but you hear the voice. But then at the end of last episode, they saw a live feed of Control, who seemed kind of like a confused and scared old man.
Mm-hmm.
And not the young face that they were used to. And he was getting controlled and ordered to make declarations by some other entity. And at the very end of the episode, there was a bit of a scuffle in wherever the recording studio, I guess, that he was in. And the camera was knocked over. And when the camera landed on the ground, the Doctor and our faithful companions all saw crab legs.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so we basically pick up from there, and the chief of police, Ola, comes into the pilot's office where all this is happening, and he's got a bunch of guards with him. The pilot has condemned them all to the pits, so Ola and his guards have come to like take them away for pit labor and put them in the danger gang.
That's a very cool gang name.
Yeah, I'd be like, hell yeah, danger gang sounds awesome.
Yeah, do I get a jacket or what? Sweet.
Control, like the static young man face of Control, reappears on the screen and tells the pilot that his orders were correct, like, his orders to send them to the danger gang, and that he should forget about all of this. And he's just like, okay, cool. And he tells Ben to keep watch on his friends and let the pilot know if he sees anything suspicious. Of course, Ben has kind of like been brainwashed. He kind of succumbed to the brainwashing when Jamie and Polly like got woken up or whatever.
Right. That sleep injected brainwashing or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So down in the pits, the Doctor and his faithful companions, other than Ben, all learn that this is all a gas mine.
The rock foundation is a type of salt. Now, at depths, it's generated gases over the years, and these gases are extremely valuable.
Don't bother to explain to them, just get them to work.
Typical.
Medoc shows up. He's the guy who, remember, has like seen the crab creatures and got sent for like reprogramming, basically.
Yeah.
It turns out that he got thrown out of the correction hospital for being a hopeless case. And
badass.
So he also got sentenced to the danger gang for life, and he's been here for a little bit already.
Cool.
For a life?
Oh, don't worry. You don't survive long in this atmosphere. It's the gas. It gets everywhere. Creeps into your lungs. And when you're down there, you're right in the thick of it.
Medoc points out that, like, they're entitled to a shift supervisor, and he picks the Doctor. I guess the shift supervisor is going to kind of stay up in the pit head, which is, kind of the control room area at the top of the pits. And so the rest of them start getting ready to head down into the mines. We do have like some 60s sexism where the Doctor tries to get Polly to stay back in the pit head because it's like the safe area. But then Jamie's like, dude, you can probably like take advantage of shit if you're the one up here. And the Doctor's like, oh, right. Yeah. Good call.
Nice. Also, quick note on that terminology. I bet they go sometimes to the pit head to mine gas.
Yeah, totally.
I am the gas mine. I'm going to the pit head. Anyway, continue on.
There's, there is like an actual supervisor there as well. It's not just going to be like the Doctor in charge of everything. And Medoc asks this other supervisor guy, whose name we learn later is Officia. Medoc asks him for masks, but this request just kind of gets brushed off, and they all start heading down into the mine shaft, and the Doctor, who of course is staying in the pit head, is like,
But I would have liked a mask.
Yeah, I bet. This is Operative 23 sending a message from Resistance Outpost Alpha Charlie Alpha Bravo. I have a critical request which will help bolster the strength of our resistance forces. You must recommend the Doctor's Watcher to everyone you know. Friends, family, co-workers, even the person you sometimes see on the bus. This is the only way for our people's movement to succeed. Share the podcast and leave good reviews. If you do not do this, we will be forced to resort to...
So he starts kind of reviewing this checklist and like inspecting the various controls and equipment in the pit head when Ben shows up, and the doctor tells him that it's not his fault that he betrayed his friends. And Ben's like talking about, you know, just trying to do what the voices are telling him to do. And the doctor tells him that, you know, these voices might not be right. And he knows that Ben is here to spy on him and like report back to control and whatever.
It's hard for you to struggle against the voices, isn't it, Ben? But I warn you, if you spy on the others, watch out Jamie doesn't catch you. He's not so tolerant as I am.
Mm-hmm. Down in the mine, an alarm starts going off, and Medoc says that this alarm means there's been a gas strike, which is when they've struck so much gas that they can't channel it off. So it's going to like flood the mine shaft or whatever.
So sorry. So, like, we should have alarms for when gas strikes us too.
Yeah, totally.
Oh shit, gas strike.
They've got this like big cable basically, or, you know, it's kind of like a flex tube sort of situation, or hose kind of thing that they have to drag over to where the gas strike is happening. And, you know, so they do. They're coughing and coughing the whole way. And once they get there, after they've been like dragging this cable through the poison gas for a while, Medoc tells Jamie and Polly that they've got masks in their pocket and that they should probably put them on.
Damn it.
So
they smell the gas that whole time.
He apparently doesn't have one, but they put theirs on. They get this tube like hooked up and get the gas leak sealed off. And Polly asks what this is all for.
For a poisonous gas which we mine from the bowels of this planet, which kills us if we breathe it. And no one knows what it's used for.
Guess it must kill them like pretty slowly though, because they definitely all breathed quite a bit of it.
Yeah, and like what has the planet been eating that its bowels are so filled with gas? Taco Bell?
Yeah, seriously. As Medoc says this about the gas, the camera of the animation zooms out and it reveals basically a POV shot of one of the giant crabs watching all of this on a view screen. Then back in the pit head, the doctor, accomplished mathlete, is doing some complicated math on a chalkboard.
Nice.
Of course, you know, it's the kind of like TV math that doesn't actually make any sense if you look at it, and is, you know, there's like different numbers and like some triangles and arrows and circles and all this stuff drawn on the board.
Excellent.
He's looking over his work. He's like, you know, erasing some things and writing new ones and like adding other stuff. And the pilot kind of enters the room behind him unnoticed. And the doctor like finishes up what he's working on. He gives it a quick look over and then like gives himself a score of 10 out of 10 on it. The pilot asks him where he got the formula, and the doctor's like,
in my head. You know.
I just made it up, man. Was he like, how about them apples? Sorry, Good Will Hunting reference. All right.
Nice. The pilot doesn't believe him that, you know, it just came out of his head, basically. He thinks that the doctor must have, like, broken into their secret files or something. But the doctor insists not. He does admit to having had some help in working it out.
Yes, I thought so. Who was it? Oh, no, person. No, I simply mean that I took readings from the various dials. They appeared to be related, so I worked out the principle that controlled them. It was simple, really. Like doing a sum backwards.
Backwards?
Yes. You know, given the answer, what's the question?
So yeah, I guess he's like worked out all the mathematical principles behind all the dials in the control panel. So now he knows what's going on here.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Doc.
Uh-huh. The pilot insists that he erase it from the chalkboard before anyone else sees. So he does, but not before changing his score to 11 out of 10.
Excellent.
Uh-huh. Medoc explains to Polly and Jamie back in the mines that the work never stops. They're always looking for more gas. You know, even after like this emergency of a gas strike, they have to keep going. And the supervisor Officia shows up to inspect their work, and he starts criticizing like how Medoc has hooked this tube up to the gas strike, basically. But when Officia starts like messing with it to try to fix it or whatever, it comes off and he gets a face full of gas. Medoc goes and like reconnects it, but not before Officia passes out. And Jamie kind of like quickly loots the body and takes his keys.
Nice.
But Ben shows up and, you know, like kind of helps take Officia away as Polly and Jamie discuss with each other whether Ben saw Jamie take the keys. Jamie's basically like, well, if he did, then like we're fucked, so we better use them quickly. So there's this kind of mystery door over in the mines that Medoc says that no one has opened. So he goes to open it, and Medoc off camera like calls for help or whatever. So Polly goes back to help Medoc, while Jamie actually does unlock this mystery door and head in and finds an abandoned mining tunnel. So starts to explore it, obviously. And back in the main mine, a different alarm starts going off. Medoc says that this is the alarm for when someone has escaped.
Ooh.
So he and Polly, of course, realize that it's Jamie. Medoc's like, shit, I'm going to go with him. He rushes off. Polly's like, wait, don't leave without me. And so she rushes off after him. Officia, back, I guess, in the pit head, has recovered consciousness or whatever. And he starts calling for guards to close all the gas shaft exits. And then he realizes that he doesn't have his keys, so he calls for special guards to cover all exits to the old mining shaft.
With pilot's permission, they may have to go on forbidden ground.
Oh, snap.
Medoc is now in the old mining shaft. He's looking for Jamie, calling for him and whatever. But before he finds him, a giant claw grabs Medoc.
Uh-oh. That sucks, because Medoc was kind of cool.
Uh-huh. Jamie, like, hears him scream, and hears, like, thumps and shuffles and whatever. So he goes looking. But we cut back to the pit head, where Control is denying permission for guards to go on the forbidden ground, and says that exits to the old mining shaft shouldn't be guarded. The supervisor, Officia, is just like, well, Control knows best. The doctor asks him, like, what'll happen if his prisoner escapes through the old mining shaft. And Officia is just like, well, I guess I'll be punished for letting him escape, but Control knows best, so whatever.
Awkward.
Uh-huh. So Officia leaves. The doctor wonders, like, who this escapee even is. And as soon as Officia is gone, Ben tells the doctor that it's Jamie. Turns out Ben actually did see Jamie take the keys, but he didn't report him because he can't really think straight.
Ben, you're recovering. I always thought you were a tough customer. Well done.
Control knows best.
You You don't seem very sure.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
He's getting there.
Back in the mine, Jamie finds Medoc's safety goggles. And, like, not the rest of Medoc. And then this giant crab shows up. I'm kind of realizing by this point in the serial that I think Macra is what these giant crabs are actually called. Like the name of the serial, the Macra Terror.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure it's ever really like that clear in the dialogue or anything.
Huh, yeah. I was wondering if we were going to get like some kind of reveal or something.
But yeah, I think they're the Macra.
Okay.
So this Macra shows up. Jamie rolls, pretty high on his sneak check and is able to like escape it and evade it. And we cut back to the doctor in the pit head, who tells Polly that he thinks Jamie has pretty good chances since Control is like not allowing any guards or anything into the old mining shaft. Meanwhile, the doctor has been trying to analyze the gas to figure out why they're going to such great lengths to mine it. He's got like this flask basically with, a centimeter or two of like condensed liquid gas at the bottom of it that he's just kind of like staring at really closely. But this method of analysis hasn't really been very successful.
Strangely. I don't see why not, but maybe he should like take a sniff to, get the chemical composition.
Yeah, totally. Polly hears someone approaching, so he quickly hides this flask, and then we start kind of cutting around a lot. Ben is back in the pilot's office. He went to actually go tell the pilot that Jamie took the keys, but the pilot's not there. There's a secretary lady who offers to help him, but he refuses, saying that he will only tell the pilot. He kind of starts talking about like not being sure what to do, and he's not sure about the voices in his head. But the secretary lady says that the voices are their friends, and Ben's like,
"That's it. What about my friends?"
So he's kind of starting to come back around.
Nice.
In the pit head, the supervisor Officia is getting upset at the doctor, but then the alarm stops sounding. Polly asks why, and he says that it's because the emergency is over. They must be like closing in on the prisoner. So of course Polly and the doctor are like, oh shit. Meanwhile, there is actually a Macra staring Jamie down in the mine and closing in on him. It's not like guards, but the Macra is closing in on him.
Yeah,
apparently.
Right. Possibly worse.
And then cutting back to the pilot's office, the pilot is there now. He asks Ben, like, why he didn't report this to Officia. And Ben says it's because the pilot told him to report back to him. So pilot's like, okay, whatever. But, now they know that Jamie is actually in the old mining shaft. And they ask Control for further instructions.
All guards will leave the area of the old shaft. No one must go near it, even in search of the stranger. Do not approach its exit or entrance. Do not go in. Officials are to stand by at the gas center.
Sorry.
And then, like, to really drive the point home, the image of Control on the screen is briefly replaced with an image of Jim Carrey, who says,
"Do not go in there." Woo!
While, like, kind of waving his hand around his butt.
Nice. Oh boy, this is definitely one of the funniest serials, and I don't think they intended it that way. But, oh man, like anyone who's getting tired of the fart jokes, just be glad we're not doing shaft jokes. Okay?
Yeah, that's fair. Back in the pit head control room, Ophitia is starting to prepare to divert gas into the shaft. And Polly's like, what the fuck? Why would they do that? And the doctor's like, yeah, what the fuck indeed? That gas is like really valuable to them. So he doesn't think that they're doing it just to kill Jamie. Like, that would be a huge waste of gas. They're like much, more easier and more efficient ways to kill Jamie. So they must have some other reason for this gas diversion.
The Macra have come to the surface of this planet and not found sufficient gas in the atmosphere. So they've had to get somebody to pump it up from down below.
But if it's life and death to them, why do they waste it? Why divert it into the old shaft?
Oh, that's obvious, Polly, obvious. Because there's something trapped down there they wish to keep alive.
Oh. Interesting.
Uh-huh. So he starts like studying diagrams of the gas flows and pipes and everything to try to figure out like what's happening where. Meanwhile, this Macra is menacing Jamie, who's trying to get away from it, but Ophitia, like following, Control's orders or whatever, turns on the gas at half blast, and Jamie starts coughing and choking. All this. In the animation, it's like this kind of green gas. And, all this gas starts flooding into the mining shaft and everything. Back in the pit head, there's this, control panel, basically. It's like a big, long control panel, like several feet worth of lights and switches and knobs and gauges and levers and shit. So, Ophitia is the only one there to operate it. You might think it might be a bit difficult if you have to like run back and forth, first flip a switch over here and then like run down to the other end of the control panel to push a button or whatever. But it's fine because he's got this rad seat on rails on this like bench. There's a bench in front of the control panel that just like stretches the full length. And his seat is on rails, so he can just like slide back and forth to sit in front of the particular control he needs to sit in front of.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, it looked like it would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I could honestly use one of those like in my studio.
The doctor has, studied this gas flow diagram. He thinks he's figured out how it works and like what's happening where and everything. As Control orders Ophitia to turn on full pressure, which he does. Jamie kind of like starts coughing and choking more, and he's, trying to escape from the Macra. He's heading down the mine shaft, trying to get away from it. But suddenly there's another Macra approaching from the other direction, coming up the mine shaft towards him. So, as he kind of starts singing to himself, Macra to the left of me, Macra to the right, here I am, stuck in a poison gas mine shaft.
Nice.
And the words on the screen say, Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton.
Nice. Well, that was a great episode. This was the funniest one we've had so far. But yeah, still, I even without all the fart jokes, pretty good. Conspiracies and poison gas and officials named Ophitia. Which, that's convenient.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and like they never even bothered to give the pilot a name.
Right. Hey, pilot, what, Ophitia? What's your title again? Oh, just kidding. Let's go get some food from Mr. Cook.
Nice. Yeah, my
cool.
good friend musician might come along, I think.
Right. As long as we don't get Gas Boss, don't hang out with him, because boy, he smells like something. I can't quite place it.
Maybe sulfur? I don't know.
Yeah. Like brimstone from hell? I don't know. Taco Bell beef? It's hard to place it.
I guess the chief of police did get a name. He's Ola.
True. Weird they didn't name him like Piggy or something.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, good episode. It's kind of fun how we got, quite a bit of action. Oh yeah, even without the fart jokes too, we got the doctor being pretty funny with his little mathlete scores.
Yeah, that was fun. Like, yeah, did a great job on his own, but as soon as he learned that this is like secret and forbidden knowledge, yeah, totally bumped that score up to 11 out of 10.
Right, absolutely. It's like a hidden unlock kind of thing. Yeah, I guess the one downside, the 60s sexism again. But, respect to Polly for pretty much sidestepping that immediately.
Yeah, she's an interesting character in that sense, because she does do a lot of like screaming and being scared and worried and stuff, but then she also, like, whenever they're like, no, this is men's work, she's always like, no, fuck that, I'm gonna come too.
Yeah, and like she really gets shit done when she needs to, as we've seen multiple times in the past.
Yeah, totally.
Like in some cases, she was more capable than the men, I would argue.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to find out what happens next.
Cool. Yeah.
Any further notes on this episode?
The only other thing I wanted to mention was to give a quick shout out to listener Tom L, who I had a nice chat with on Blue Sky recently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Tom L has been listening to the Doctor's Watcher since the very early days. And apparently, well, I shouldn't say apparently, because I went and checked. He left us our very first review on the Podcast Addict app a few years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, shout out to Tom L.
Thanks, Tom L. Yeah. Appreciate the attention there, and it's nice to know someone other than us is enjoying it.
Yeah, apparently Tom L found the podcast by just like searching for Doctor Who in the Podcast Addict app. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Nice. Well, yeah, I guess in preparation for the next episode, I will be dosing up on some Beano. And perhaps I'll bring a mask.
Nice. Yeah, that seems like probably a good idea.
Cool. Well, listeners, you should probably do the same, just in case. But I want to say thanks, Kyle, for describing this episode to me. It's really been a gas.
And thank you, Ryan, for gassing me up as I describe it.
Excellent. And thank you, listeners, for listening to all this hot gas that we both are constantly spewing.
Indeed. Hopefully, as it pours into your ears, there's an outflow somewhere.
Right. Oh, I think there is, knowing our listeners. Sorry, Tom.
And cool, yeah, if you want to hear what flows out of us for the rest of this serial, tune in 2 weeks.
Indeed. And if you want to contact us, we can be reached on Gmail and Blue Sky, mainly.
Indeed. Be like Tom L. and contact us. Also be like Tom L. and tell your friends.
Yes. And neighbors and distant family relations, of course.
Indeed.
Okay, cool. Well, on that note, I'm going to go float away into the gaseous ether.
Sounds good. I think I will do the same.
All right, cool. Bye.
Bye.
What's the matter?
Dreadful. Did you hear that rhyme? The man who wrote that ought to be sent to the danger gang, not us.
All right, that's enough.